Hi Tracy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Nick?
Good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. Sending
Yeah,
you a big virtual hug.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It was sort of only a couple of months ago you were here and I thought it'd be like a year or more before I saw you again, but here we are and everybody not being able to, like you say, give each other hugs and having to do virtual hugs and all the rest of that that goes with it. Kind of crazy times at the moment.
Oh, it certainly is. And it's great to see so many people tuning in. I can see some of my own team members joining as well. So saying hello to them all.
You than there. Hi guys. So obviously I'm a Wella sell-on, so a lot of people that are coming up that I kind of know as well. So it's nice to sort of see there's some Wella people on there. Obviously we've got some NZARH people,
Yeah.
just some hairdressers out there. We've got some Australia, some New Zealand. So yeah, so it's just nice that we
We've,
can.
we've even got some tuned in from the US that I know that I've seen logging in as well. So it's good. We're going a little bit global right now. It's great.
Hey, so I guess first of all, just like to say thank you very much for coming and having a bit of a chat with us today. Obviously, what NZARH are doing is we're sort of like the voice of industry for New Zealand for beauty, for hairdressing and barbering.
Yeah.
And what we wanted to be able to do is sort of connect people in our industry with some people around the globe that are doing different things. And knowing that you're obviously working with Wella now, so you used to have your own salon, an award-winning salon. Of course, you're an educator as well in Australia and won Educator of the Year, I think, a couple of times. Then you were in the US for a wee while and doing some amazing stuff with one of the brands over there that people know that became absolutely huge before you came back to Australia. And now you're with Wella doing some education and I guess their digital presence as well. So I thought that now is a really good opportunity to talk about that. Like I kind of wasn't really into the digital age very much, kind of being over 35, 45. I kind of found that sometimes it was like a little bit beyond me what it was that we were actually doing, and I kind of thought, people aren't really watching it. But being with NZARH and seeing that some of the things we were doing before might get maybe 1,000 people watching it, now suddenly there's 23,000 people watching it. You can kind of understand why it is that it's such a great thing. So yeah, I thought we'd just have a bit of a chat about yourself and what it is that you've been doing, where it is that you've been up to now, where it is that you think that the digital media can be great for education, but also people's presence just out there and how they can sort of like look different, what forms to choose, what platform to choose. So yeah, just have a bit of a general chat. And obviously today, if any of the viewers want to put any questions in, I'll try to be a man and read and talk at the same time, which is a little bit difficult. So yeah, so over to you.
Awesome. Well, look, the first comments I've got to say is, do you want to be my PR manager?
Yeah,
seriously, you've just kind of given off my whole career, which is fantastic. Obviously, we've got to know each other anyway, so you know a little bit about my history. So if you ever want to give up hairdressing, definitely that could be the way to go. So I appreciate being here today and the very kind comments, and obviously just a little bit of background about my own journey as well. And of course, now I'm very proudly working with the fabulous Wella team across all the Cody Professional Beauty Division and all the brands that we have there as head of education and digital. And we certainly are in new times right now, obviously, with the pandemic going on. But of course, what we're seeing is there's a massive increase in digital activity. And I guess for myself, after living in the US for quite a while too, digital was just kind of part of our day-to-day lives over there. And coming back here, and I kind of felt like we weren't as digitally active as perhaps what we are over in the States. But now, of course, all that's changing and everyone's online, and there's so many inspirational podcasts and Instagram lives going all the time, and so much free digital education going on at the moment as well. And obviously at Wella, we've got a lot of great initiatives going on right now to be able to support the industry through this time at the moment.
Great, that's awesome. So I guess probably one of the things that we're looking at is people have kind of been swamped with all this extra stuff that they're watching other people's like Instagram things that they're doing and everything. And I think some salons don't even know where to start with obviously their own, or what it is they can watch, or whether they have to log in, or whether it's free, or whether they have to pay. And so I just thought you might be able to talk through the journey of where it is that somebody could start if they wanted to get involved with the digital media, or and then also obviously with the education side of it as well. Just a few tips on that.
Yeah, totally. Look, and I very much have the attitude that nothing replaces hands-on core fundamental education anyway. And digital is, I'd say, very much a part of our lives right now. But it's got to the stage where it can be, I guess, a little overwhelming for some people. Hi, Lauren. Little overwhelming for some people going, where do I begin and how can I use digital to really help grow my business, particularly once we come back to work. And I know obviously, in New Zealand in particular, you're still in lockdown and, you're going to stage 3 now and salons are going to be reopening at some point or other. There might be a case that we may have lost some clients. How do we attract some new clients? How do we bring existing clients back as well? So these are all the things to take into account. So if digital seems a little overwhelming, I guess you kind of got to just break it down into different areas and almost sort of focus on a maximum of 3 areas that you think are going to give you the most benefits as well. Hey, Stevie, I'm just seeing so many people join. I just want to say hi to everyone. It's great for joining us. Thank you. Sending you all some love hearts as well. So with digital, obviously, we can break that down into different areas, whether it's around digital marketing. So it could be around having your own CRM and doing regular email blasts out to your clients. So you're staying connected, you're staying communicating with them on a close level. But of course, also then there's things such as developing your website, looking at e-commerce platforms, particularly if you want to generate some extra revenue through online sales yourself for your own customers as well. And then, of course, the social media as well. And there's about 10 different platforms now to choose from across social media. And there's always a hot new one. And right now it's all about TikTok and, doing really cool dance moves on TikTok. But of course, you've got to think, is that going to drive your business? So I always recommend when it comes to social media to focus on 3 platforms at the most and just focus on those 3. And I think for our industry in particular, Instagram would be the number 1, Facebook would probably be 2, and LinkedIn would probably be 3. That's my personal opinion as far as the platforms that I think are the most relevant. As far as getting access to education online, I mean, we have wella.education.com. So we do have our e-education platform where we've actually released a lot of our color craft seminars for free during this period to help upskill, obviously, all our Wella family and our community out there as well. But of course, there's a lot of free education that we can get on YouTube, and we can also access through IGTV, so Instagram Live. So I'll give you an example with our team within Wella. Some of them, as you commented on your age, obviously being 45 plus, which I will share, it was just 2 weeks ago, I had my 50th birthday. And I think for our generation in particular, Nick, we were not necessarily brought up with social media as much, so it can be a little overwhelming. And I've been training all of our team internally on just the basics of Instagram, just how to use it, how to do a post, how to engage, how to do a story, how to have fun with Instagram as well, let alone IGTV and doing lives. But of course, I think it's more about whether you want to stay relevant, and that's how I've looked at it. For myself being so proactive digitally, it's because I wanted to learn personally, and also obviously living in a country that was very digitally progressive when it comes to Instagram and social media. It was just part of day-to-day life and part of the business. And I think now, if people aren't leveraging Instagram and social media across numerous platforms, you're missing out on an opportunity to be able to grow your business. And like most things, we can learn how to do it online, and Instagram's not as hard as what people think. You just need to have a play and obviously make some mistakes, and just make sure that you're being yourself and be authentic in how you post. I had a lot of my team asking, for example, how do we determine what type of content to post? And you're just going to think, who is your audience, and what do they want to see, and what do they want to hear, and what is your brand message? And that ultimately should help you determine what type of content you should be posting.
Okay. So with that, Tracey, about what it is that you want your brand to represent, and I know that we've spoken about this before, but we've got like a wide range of stylists in salons. So you might have people that own the salon being in their 40s, or like more mature staff members, and then of course there's the apprentice that is only maybe like 20, and so appealing to different people within that. Would you recommend that you would have like different audiences but with the same platform? So, or would you put like the younger ones might use Instagram and the older ones, and this is what I'm hearing, that people that are our age would actually be watching on either like LinkedIn or Facebook. So would you separate the audiences that you're trying to appeal to, or can you appeal to the same audience but have different content within the one platform? What would you recommend there?
Look, to be honest, I think that's a really great question to ask. And of course, different generations do prefer to play on different platforms. And it really just comes down to what your audience is. So what's your target market? Say if you're a salon owner or you're a stylist or you're an apprentice, what type of clientele do you want to build? What type of work do you want to generate? What price point are you sitting at? So all the elements to take into account as far as where your brand is positioned will determine obviously what platform you want to play on, and also determining as well what are you the most confident at utilizing too. So like you said, maybe a slightly more mature demographic will be playing on Facebook. I mean, Facebook's very personal, but Facebook also is exceptionally great from a strategy perspective when you want to do paid campaigns. So, if you've got a business page set up on Facebook, then of course you want to be looking at really targeting the demographics that suit you. And pretty much everyone is playing on Facebook, so you can really narrow down the demographics that are in your area, the age group, the gender, etc., that you want to target for your clientele through paid campaigns. But of course, the younger generation are the ones that are playing more on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube. That's their playing field. So if you want to attract a younger clientele into your salons, then of course you want to be playing where they play as well. And then when you look at platforms such as LinkedIn, I get so many people saying to me, well, I don't really play on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's really just if you're looking for a job. And that's how a lot of people see LinkedIn. For myself personally, when I've done independent keynote speaking and I've connected with a lot of my speaker buddies as part of the Speakers Association globally, they all generate so much leads across LinkedIn because it's a very strong professional platform. So, for example, if you want to attract a clientele into your salon that are perhaps, a working professional, then they're the ones to connect with on LinkedIn and build those connections through LinkedIn and obviously market your services through there, because you're going to get, a slightly more professional level of clientele than perhaps a younger clientele that you're going to target on Instagram. So if you want to obviously get a very broad, vast clientele that across all the different generations, then you need to be across all of those platforms. But ultimately, you need to determine, first of all, is, what's your target market and what platform does that target market actively play on the most, and then you engage with them on that platform as well. So I don't necessarily say it's just about a generational factor that younger ones are on, Instagram, TikTok, etc., and more mature ones are on Facebook and LinkedIn. It really is about what is your demographic, and then utilizing the resources and the reach and the engagement that each of those platforms have.
Okay, makes sense. So I guess, as I said before, I've had like lots of different staff members at different levels of training, but also getting clients. And what we've found is, I guess it's like when everybody does, the deals, there's a half price deal and everybody comes in and then they come into you on that deal, but then they leave just as quickly on the next deal. So when I kind of see that, like Instagram, for example, or the younger ones are getting like lots of clients through Instagram, then they get quite disappointed when they leave the same way through a campaign that somebody else is doing on Instagram. So is there something that you can do once you've actually got, especially like the ones that I guess it is an Instagram, it's instant, and they want it right then, and they come in, they want the appointment in the afternoon, they have it done, but then still keeping them engaged so that they can still follow those rules that we like to be able to have them to rebook, to be coming in on a regular basis, to still stay engaged. Because we do find that they might be coming in 2 or 3 times, but then when you can't do their hair, like at the last minute, they're off seeing the next person. So have you got some advice around once they're actually in the salon, how it is that you manage to keep them there with the campaigns that you might be doing on Instagram, for example?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So, I mean, Instagram, I say, is a great platform to be able to attract clients, because the beauty of Instagram is it's very visual, and it's a very authentic platform where you can post your work and examples of your work, and you can lay your grid out beautifully. So you're really reflecting, especially as an individual, even not just as a salon owner, when you're looking at it as even an apprentice or a stylist building their clientele. They can truly represent their own personal brand with a beautiful laid out Instagram page. And once you attract perhaps a clientele through Instagram, then you've also got to think about how do you keep that clientele. And that applies to attracting a clientele, for example, through word of mouth, through a recommendation, through passing trade, walking past the salon, for example. It's all about how do you retain those clients once you've actually got them. And that's where your marketing strategy needs to come into effect, more so than trying to think, how do I target getting that client back through Instagram again? Think about, once you've got that client into your salon, obviously, ideally, you want to make sure that you're collecting their contact details. So collecting their email addresses, collecting their phone numbers, and then think about I always suggest that we have a 12-month marketing strategy. So, and then you have your month themes, and then obviously you'll break that down into a content planner as well across that 12-month period into monthly blocks. Hi, Gemma. Thanks for joining us. So also what you will realize when you put a strategy together for a marketing plan is there's many different touch points that you can have. And one of the biggest advice is, I still believe that email marketing is a fabulous way of staying connected with a clientele. Of course, the open rate, you're lucky if you get a 20% open rate. Hi, Mark. Oh, Mark's joined us, one of my friends from the US. And just sending you a big doggy cuddle as well, Mark. So he's one of my friends I used to play with at the dog park. Yeah. So this is the beauty of Instagram in itself, just being able to stay connected with so many people, of course, in different parts of the world. But as we were talking about with email marketing, you might only get a 20% open rate, but you obviously want to be targeting a much higher open rate, but making sure that your content is really engaging and making sure that you have an instant touch point with that clientele once you've attracted them. So staying connected with them on a regular basis is the key to getting them back. Particularly one of the things that we're seeing in the current environment of a pandemic is we're all staying connected like we are right now, obviously online as well. But text message marketing, email marketing, just staying in touch with your clientele, a follow-up phone call even a week after their first visit will be really personal. So you have to think about, once you've attracted that client in from Instagram, and yes, they may be the type of client that's instant and they want their hair done today and they go, wow, I love that work I've seen on Instagram. But if you really give them great service, beautiful work, and they're really happy with their hair, then you just need to stay connected with them and try and hook them back in again. So particularly getting them back for the second visit is crucial. So even offering some kind of incentive to get them back on the second visit. And then, of course, as we all know, they're not truly a loyal client till they've been with you for 3 visits as well. And that's why you need to build your own database, because it's wonderful if you can build a clientele across social media and you can build a big following on social media as well. But the reality is you don't own those contacts. That platform, such as Instagram, will own those contacts for you. Whereas if you build a database of your own, then that's your own contacts as well. So one of the things that we launched at Wella this year, when we launched our new education menu, which has got a whole heap of new seminars in there, we launched a business seminar called Digital Activation #202. And it's because we have the Instagram masterclass, which is our #101. We launched the 202, which is an in-person business seminar that I'm actually facilitating myself as well, which is super exciting. And I'm doing it across Australia and New Zealand. And that's all about teaching people there and then, hands-on, how to build their marketing campaign over the 12-month period, and going through, simple things as basic SEO for your website, how to optimize everything so all your platforms will drive all the traffic to your site, how to do email marketing, text message marketing, and of course a deep dive into all platforms across social media, including LinkedIn, Facebook, paid campaigns, Instagram, TikTok, etc., but with the biggest focus, of course, being on Instagram, because that is the easiest platform to attract a new clientele on as well. So we actually kicked off the very first one just before we went into lockdown. So we've got some tentative dates ready for once we're back out there active, and I can't wait to be able to be supporting the community a little bit further with bringing back some live education in person. As well, of course, what we've rolled out as of next week on our Wella Instagram page, which is WellaPro_ANZ, is we're actually going to be doing live tutorials with all of our education team twice a week on the Instagram page next week.
Oh, great. That sounds really good. Will that be a permanent feature that you'll be doing? It is?
Yeah, definitely. I guess one of my my thought processes behind digital education is it can't just be here for the short term as a band-aid to inspire us while we are currently in lockdown. It needs to be something that's just part of our life now, and it needs to be something that's easily accessible. So one of the reasons that I'm kicking off with 2 a week, we're doing Monday Mastery and Wednesday Wisdoms. And we're having, a very strong focus, obviously, on colour services, because naturally we're going to see clients coming back into all of our salons with bigger regrowth than usual as well. So we're having a very big focus across colour services for the month of May. But yes, ideally what we would love is to be able to keep this as an ongoing process that will just become part of our working week. So then that way, basically, we're always giving away free education online through our Instagram channel on a weekly basis. So we can literally stay connected with our community. And like, we've got people joining us now, and, we're getting people interacting with us when we're doing our lives, and we're doing step-by-step tutorials for you. We'll also be able to answer questions directly on live as well. So, guys, thanks for joining us as well today. I mean, if you've got any questions you want to throw out, certainly type them in, and that's what we're here for today, is to support you as well.
Great. So just talking about you did hashtag 101. Was that was face-to-face as well that you did that? Or was that...
No, that's one that we basically are offering to all of our Wella clients. So it's we've released that as part of the digital education that we have on education.wella.com. And as I said, we've released the Instagram basics class on there. We've also released all of our colour craft seminar on there for free as well during this lockdown period. So we're going to keep that as a limited availability. So basically, if someone wants to do, say, colour craft correction or colour craft essential, they can jump online and they can actually register and log on and go through that program online themselves. And then what we do is also offer a one-on-one Skype session with one of our educators afterwards. And then, of course, if you want to put that into practice, that's when you will join then the in-person seminars that we will kick off again in a few months' time.
Great. So I guess, some of that stuff we sort of think that it's just for the young ones that have just started for the online. And I actually signed up to do the Wella Master Colorist course.
Awesome. That's super exciting, Nick.
Yeah, so did that, and it was supposed to be launched this week, actually, for the next class, but just with the stuff that's happening, it didn't. And I was actually really surprised to sort of see that was going to be, like online as well, and it would sort of be international, and how it would actually manage that. But after having a look through it, I can kind of see the benefit of it. If you're really busy and you want to be able to do the class stuff that you want to do outside of the hours that you normally be at work, it might be 10 o'clock at night that you find the time to do that, or it might be 7 o'clock in the morning that you do it. So being able to sort of have access to that at a really elevated level for me felt really good. So
I'm not laughing at you, Nick. I'm
No,
laughing
no, I'm
at
reading that as
someone
well.
that's just logged on and just said they've got the biggest crush on me.
Sorry, not sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's funny.
So,
Yeah,
Nick, I would say definitely with the Master Colour Expert that we run, we do have two options with our MCE program. And of course, we have the in-studio, in-person option, but we also have the online option. And it's great that you're looking at doing the online version as well. It's something that comes from Wella globally, and it's been very successful platformers for us as well. And we do have some phenomenal mentors that support you through that program too. And it's our most comprehensive program that we actually run, because obviously you're going to end up getting the certification as a Wella Master Colour Expert. And the results that we've seen from everyone that's gone through MCE with us, it's really elevated and grown their business as well, because obviously, you know, colour is the biggest service that we want to generally promote within any salon right now as well.
true. So great. So I think that, like I was kind of thinking for me, for example, to think of, you know, do I want to be able to do all the social media stuff in the salon? Like, and I know that a lot of business owners have this issue that the other person that's on the floor doing the work, they're doing the training as well, they're being faithful to business, to then all of a sudden having to do all the social media, it actually takes you away from what it was that you maybe got into the business for.
Oh, totally.
People's here. So, you know, I think like a lot of people, I've sort of tried the whole, you know, getting somebody else in.
Hi, Michael.
Oh, Michael Beale. Hi, Michael.
Yes. Just saying hi.
Getting people, can I ask?
Can we ask Wella to bring back KP 5/46? I'll put that request in just for you, since you have a crush on me.
Yeah, sort of trying to be everything to everyone. Would you recommend having somebody in your business do the social media, or have somebody maybe that like is the reception and social media person, or to outsource it to an external person altogether? Or, you know, when people are sort of starting to get on that, what would you recommend?
Look, I think, you know, it really just, hey, Mana. It really just comes down to basically how your business is set up and what your capacity is and what you can actually handle. Most salon owners originally go into opening a business because, you know, they're great stylists, they're brilliant hairdressers, and then all of a sudden they kind of go, I want to create my own culture, I want to create my own brands, I want to be, you know, self-employed, I want the challenge of running a business. But the reality is it's a lot more challenging than anything that anyone could ever imagine. I was a salon owner for almost 18 years, and trying to juggle all aspects of the business is hard, and you can't be good at everything. And it's something I always say to everyone: don't try and do everything if you're not that good at it. Either one, invest into your own learning and obviously become an expert in the areas that you're not, or engage someone else to support you and help you that is an expert instead. So when it comes to social media, so if it's something that you're not that confident with yourself at running, then yes, see if there's someone in your team that perhaps loves social media and is obsessed with Instagram, and, you know, they're super excited to be able to have the opportunity to represent the brand and do it for you. You know, and even if it is a young apprentice, you know, it's giving them a sense of accountability as well. And it's giving them a great task to be able to sink their teeth in. Of course, the business owner needs to give the direction to them of, you know, how they want the brand represented. But that's going to be really great education for that young apprentice or young stylist to be able to take on a task that is so incremental to be able to grow the business so much that I think it's a brilliant option to look at. And then, of course, you can also look at using external agencies. And if you use an external agency, you've just got to realize that obviously there's going to be a financial investment involved in that, first of all. But second of all, they may not necessarily, I guess, have the feel of what your brand truly represents. So I know when I had my salons, we did actually have an agency do our social media for a little while, but I took it back off them because I just didn't feel that they were truly grasping what the feel of the brand was. So And I know even for myself, when I had my own personal education brand as well, I had a personal assistant that used to manage all my social media for me. And I had to do that based on the fact that I didn't have the time to do it myself. But one of the things was when I basically came back to looking at social media, and obviously digital was becoming so much a big part of my life as well, particularly when I moved to the US and with the roles that I took on there as well. I started to manage my own Instagram page, and I saw a massive increase in engagement straight away, because people buy people and then they buy things. So if you want to engage with someone, they need to know who you are. You know, it's not just about the services that you're selling or the products that you're endorsing, etc. It still has to be about the person behind the service as well. And, you know, it's one of the things when you look at my page, obviously it's all about hair, it's all about Wella, it's all about everything that I'm doing. But at the same time, you'll see pictures of my Dalmatian thrown in there. And anyone that knows me, that my Dalmatian is the love of my life, way before the husband, but just don't tell him that. He hasn't logged on, so he's not listening. And everyone will see, obviously, when I'm doing stories as well, that you want your stories to be lighthearted and fun, but still have that brand message. But you've got to throw the personal elements in there too, so you keep that level of authenticity. So if you can manage your own Instagram, then yes, I would always recommend that first. Second, I would recommend definitely getting one of your younger team members to do it for you. Because, of course, oh, Mana, please don't dot me in with Simon.
I read that.
So, yeah, getting one of the younger ones obviously gives them a great opportunity to be able to flourish and take some great responsibility within the business as well.
Excellent.
I thought we had a heap of comments come in there. I didn't get to read all those questions.
So I was interested, like there was people were commenting on what it is that they do for social media, and I just noticed that I think it was Michael Beale from Boy was saying that they have somebody that actually does their social media for them for 20 hours a week, but what they've and to get their brand out there, and said that it was pretty great, but then he's just sort of said that over the lockdown period, because the staff obviously don't have anything to do, that kind of like really stepped up and showing their own sort of like personality, I guess, behind that. So, and I think
that's awesome, Michael. Well done.
We've heard the same kind of thing as well. That I think Mana did the same thing, and it's nice to be able to see from the association's point of view. You know, we often deal with the business owner, so for us, it's really nice to sort of see a lot of these teams that are in the salons, you know, behind the scenes doing the stuff that they're doing. And it sort of seems to be the one that everybody's doing at the moment, is how it is they look first thing in the morning, and then when they've got themselves glammed up afterwards. And it's really nice to sort of see the people on the team, and obviously that's keeping a connection with their audience. And for us, you know, the big thing is connection with their clients and with each other. And so I guess we're just trying to do what it is that we do, but rather than, you know, the big hugs, everything is, you know, like we said before, it's sort of virtual. So it's sort of keeping that connection. So, yes, I guess we've had...
definitely. And I think, you know, Michael's got a really good point there. Obviously, you know, they had an agency or someone engaged to do it for 20 hours a week. And now that they're in lockdown, and obviously the team is stepping up and, you know, being a lot more proactive across social, that's amazing, because obviously they can be doing posts as well. And clients are going to see the difference, I guess, in the content and the voice of how the message is being portrayed. So, like, one of the things that I've done within Wella, while we've been obviously during this period, is thank you, saying my hair looks fabulous. You just don't want to see the back. You can do the back today because the back's not on camera. So, of course, one of the things that I focused on during this period is really upskilling our education team as well across social media too. So I'm so blessed right now to be able to work for a company like Coty and a brand like Wella, where we are putting our people first. And all our team are still actively working, even if they're not out in the field, and being able to visit all our fabulous stylists and all our salons as well. They're still staying very, very closely connected. So what we tried to do was, I guess, arm our education team and really give them the skills and the assets and the knowledge to be able to become content curators. And so basically they've been pumping out heaps of content every single day. They've all learned how to do amazing posts. They've all learned how to edit videos themselves to be able to post on IGTV. They're all doing lives. And it's really elevated their skill set massively, But what it means is we're actually pumping out over 100 pieces of content per day right now for Wella across ANZ. And that's amazing because our Wella family and our community have really appreciated the fact that we are staying so closely connected, and they're feeling very inspired by a lot of the content that we're pushing out. And in situations like this, that's what we all want. I mean, we are in this together. That's just the reality. We're all going through the journey exactly the same. We're all working from home right now. And, you know, it's certainly going to change the industry in many ways. And digital definitely is going to be a major part of our business. And that's why we want to be able to give that business advice and support to the whole industry, as well as our Wella family, so that everyone can get those tools behind them to be able to obviously bounce back and really grow their business to another level now too.
We're just both reading that at the same time. Someone saying
yeah,
that.
I am. And so Mark's been getting lots of inspiration and education to view, which is great. Excellent. We appreciate that feedback.
Excellent. So I guess just Tracey, just the last sort of thing that I'd like to talk about is that we've all heard it about our pets. You know, all of our pets when we've been at home, they've had our attention the whole time. And so, you know, we've all been cuddling our cats or petting our dogs or, you know, playing with whatever it is that we're doing with our little animals at home. And then, of course, we're going to go back to work and our animals are going to get, you know, like separation anxiety. So thinking about what it's like for us and our clients, because, of course, we've been doing the same thing. There's all this content that's been online. We've been connecting with our clients. And then going back to work and having to, I sort of say now, I don't know how it is I'm going to manage to fit a job around all the things that we've been doing in the background. Have you got any tips or any advice for people when we're going back to work to have gone from having almost, you know, like you say, like 30 or 40 hours worth of content a week from everybody in the team doing whatever it is they're doing, to then going back to work and you're actually spending that time at work and only having sort of like one post a week. So how would you advise us to sort of like transition from one to the other, but also still stay connected with our clients and our friends and obviously our technicians online?
Definitely. Look, that's a really great point to bring up. And I love the analogy, obviously, to our pets, because as you know, I'm a big dog lover. I was just talking to my husband recently about that and saying, you know, I'm used to traveling every single week and commuting. So I'm not home a great deal. And all of a sudden, my dog is very attached to me because I'm home every day. And I'm like, we need to at least just get him into doggy daycare so we can get him a little bit less attached. So that once I start flying again, he won't have separation anxiety. So it is a good analogy to bring up. And yes, of course, we have to think about once we are going back into salons, you know, how do we still keep the digital presence online and also, you know, build those in-person connections and relationships again? Nothing will replace face-to-face, whether it's education or whether it's obviously the service of our clients in the salon. So I think my first advice is just enjoy being back in the salon, enjoy being with your clients again and stay present in the moment and obviously give them the undivided attention, because they would have missed being pampered and feel special and feeling beautiful and, you know, maybe feeling a little bit down because they've had major regrowth going on, or perhaps they've attempted a home haircut that's been disastrous. Yeah. So they're just going to really appreciate the attention that we can give them. And obviously, you know, at the same time, we were going to appreciate just that human connection again. And I think, you know, with this kind of almost being a little bit of a reset button for us, it's going to really develop, I guess, a deep sense of gratitude as well. We're all spending a lot more time with our families. And it's also going to give us a deep sense of gratitude for those natural human connections that we have with our clients in the salons, because there's not many industries like ours at all where we have that opportunity to be able to build such close relationships with clients as well. So I would say, you know, once you're back in the salon, first of all, enjoy it and, you know, be present and make the most of those connections. However, don't necessarily drop the ball from a digital perspective. You know, think about developing that strategy into place and putting a plan and campaigns in place, so that way you can almost get to the point where you can automate it as well. So even if it is a case that you perhaps doing, say, let's say, for example, 5 posts a day, and now all of a sudden you can't do even 1 post a day. You're lucky if you do 1 a week. Even if you just set yourself, 10 minutes a day to still stay connected and to just like and comment and shoot some emojis and love hearts out to, your clients online as well. So they still feel that connection with you online as much as they do in person. So it's not about, I guess, managing your time too well. It's just now you've become more confident in a digital world, then just keep that and make that just still a part of your day-to-day routine as well.
Excellent. So last question, you've spent some time in the US, obviously, and now you're taking care of Australia and New Zealand. So just with what's been happening lately, would it be Donald Trump, Malcolm Turnbull, or Jacinda Ardern?
Okay, so that's a toughie to ask that one, and because I never discuss politics, I think I'm going to probably just go, no comment. Yeah, look, I do think, obviously, I've been very privileged to live in a few different countries and obviously work across numerous different countries. And right now, I guess this pandemic has really brought the whole world a lot closer because we're all learning from each other's culture and each other's political situations and how we're handling lockdowns, etc. as well. So I think right now, all I would say is, I would put politics aside and just think about the human element of what we're all going through during this period at the moment. And we are, I guess, very blessed in Australia and in New Zealand, of course, that it's perhaps not as difficult as what it is in other countries that are feeling it a lot harder. And it's because we obviously also have a smaller population. And, even between Australia and New Zealand, how the situation has been managed has been quite different as well. Obviously, you went into a full lockdown. We obviously haven't gone to a complete full lockdown like you guys have as well. But at least, the curve's going down and the situation's looking a little bit brighter. But this is not something that's going to go away overnight. So it's almost like the new norm. And one of the hardest things right now is getting used to change. And I have an attitude that, progress is impossible without change. And I always want to see the good in people and the positive in any situation. So right now I'd be going, okay, this is a great opportunity for us all to spend time with our family and obviously to pull things back to simplicity a little bit more. But of course, it's very challenging on businesses. And, we are all feeling the pain from that. And obviously, there's a lot of financial strain on every business as well. So, as a company for Wella, speaking on behalf of the company, we just want to do everything that we can to support our community right now too.
Yeah, we've found that, like obviously with NZARH, we deal with a lot of the different companies that do business in New Zealand, and it's been great the amount of support that we've had from the different companies as well. And they've just come on board and said, look, we want to push some training out there for everybody. We don't care what salon they're at, just get them to get online. It's been great, and obviously with us taking care of hairdressing and barbering as well. We've been doing some different classes, I guess, with some barbers and with some hairdressers as well. So it's really nice to sort of see the community coming together again.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, I'll quote one of my friends in the US, Via. He always, he created the hashtag artists supporting artists, but he always talks about artists supporting artists, brands supporting brands, salons supporting salons. At the end of the day, we're all in this industry striving to do the same thing, to make people feel beautiful when they come into the salons. So, obviously with you leading an association, you do get to connect with so many different companies, and you are connecting with a lot of business owners. And it's a really great time right now where we are all putting, I guess, personal preferences aside and looking at, how we can actually help each other. And ultimately, that's what it's about right now. It's like, how can we help? And, for myself personally, for anyone that's tuned into this, if you've got any other questions you want to throw at me, feel free to shoot me a DM if I can help you in any way or provide you any guidance or advice or education. And of course, on behalf of Wella as well, if we can support you any further as a company, and let us know what type of education that you want to see. Because I'll say, next week we're rolling out these Instagram live tutorials as well on Mondays and Wednesdays, and it'll be 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So obviously that's a couple of hours ahead in New Zealand. And, if there's something in particular you would love us to share with you, then let us know, because we're all ears and we want to be able to provide you the resources and the information and the knowledge to help support you for when you can open your doors again.
Excellent. Well, we've 45 minutes. That's good. Well done. So I think that's probably it for today, Tracey. Thank you very much again for tuning in and having a bit of a chat today. Really appreciate it. And if there's anything else that anybody wants to know, just put the questions up there and we'll answer them if we can. Or as Tracey said, and that's direct message, DM, not Danger Mouse, isn't it?
Yes, it's a direct message. I think I've got too used to working with so much digital terminology now. I ended up actually typing up a one-pager of what all the acronyms mean in the digital world for our team and obviously for our clients, just to help everyone understand it a little bit too. So, look, I really appreciate the fact we've had so many people join us for this live session today as well. And, seeing all these love hearts coming through and all the applauses and all the thumbs up and all the big smileys. It's beautiful, and that's what it's about, because it still makes you feel very connected to everyone that's joined us today. And Nick, of course, congratulations on what you're doing with your association and how much support that you're giving, the local New Zealand community as well. And of course, if you ever need anything from myself or Wella, please don't hesitate to ask. And I'm very grateful that you invited me to join you today. And it's a beautiful opportunity just to be able to have a chat. So thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks, Tracey. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.